everyone. Welcome back to the Gaming Block Podcast, your number one podcast for all the pertinent topics spanning across Game of the Year, reviews, and more. I'm your host, Andrew, and today I'm joined by all three of my co-hosts. Starting at the top left, we have Ida over there smiling and nervous because she's fucked up the recording already.
She's actually on my top right.
Yeah, well, you know, to the viewer, she's anywhere.
Yeah, true. I just wish you would see things from my perspective a little bit.
Fair. Up next, we have Jacob Ward. Welcome back, sir. Glad to always have you here. And then, of course, we have Roger Bennon the third at the bottom. Now, you might be wondering, wow, this is a short episode when you first clicked on it and downloaded it. Yes, that is the point of this. This is called... That's true. That's fair. 5 hours later. This is called the Gaming Block Lite. This is a new show that we will be doing in addition to our normal weekly show. The goal is to record these on Thursday and have them posted on Friday. And what we want to do is kind of give a new option to our audience to where maybe they're not too keen on our longer episodes. Our new shows span from 90 minutes to 3 hours, depending on the day. And not everyone is a fan of long podcasts, which is totally fine. But we want to make something for everyone. And this show hopefully will fill that kind of like niche for people. It's designed to only focus on one topic. And today we're going to be talking about our game of the year so far for 2023. We're halfway through the year. And I feel like it's a good time to kind of like refresh and kind of get our feelings and thoughts on all the games that have come out. And honestly, it's been a really good year looking back at it so far and seeing the titles.
I guess you just participated in it.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, you know, also if it depends on the person, but for the gaming industry as a whole, it's been a pretty solid year. But each of these episodes will focus on one topic. I think our next episode might be a spoiler cast. I think we might finally do Zelda. But that's kind of the purpose of this show. All those other things we used to do, like reviewing E3s or doing a spoiler cast or whatever, those larger topics that took up a huge chunk of time in the normal news show will now kind of flex them out into these shows, or we'll also have like interviews and things like that on this. It's really kind of open to anything that we want to do, but it gives us a lot more freedom and flexibility. So anyways, that was an explanation to the audience. Poorly explained, but it's also an explanation to you guys on what this show is.
Listening.
Yeah, no, fuck you. I also don't have a doc for this show. Historically, traditionally, we have a Google Doc.
Yeah, I don't have two tabs open at the same time, and I don't know what to do with my
mouse. Right? It's like my ADHD is just going to go insane because I'm not constantly clicking and looking around. It's just like...
Oh, you guys aren't just staring at each other's faces the whole time?
I can only take so much of these
Have I been doing this wrong?
I mean, most of the time, I block all of you out.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about, as I said before, Game of the Year 2023. And as I stated also, it's been a pretty damn good year. So a lot of people are... I hate him so much. I hate him so fucking much. He thinks that it doesn't pick up, but that's like...
eat it!
It's a huge fucking spike. What? It was fucking 3.5 minutes. Stop eating the fucking chips!
If you move so slowly, nobody will be able to see you.
I'm gonna
just
ban
turn
him.
off your camera every time you take a bite.
I'm gonna ban him from living.
Canceled.
completely destroyed my train of thought.
I'm sorry.
It's fucking like you remember that train in Ohio that crashed?
What train?
It's my mind right now. See, Roger remembers the train.
There was no train.
There was no train. There was a second plane.
It was just a freak accident. There was no train.
So 2023 for video games has been pretty good. I feel like if you're a fan of the AAA market, it's been pretty solid. New Resident Evil remake came out and it came to critical acclaim. We got Diablo 4, a new Zelda, the sequel actually to Breath of the Wild. And then for the smaller titles, we do have a Yakuza game already, which is really nice. There's a Fire Emblem game that came out, which I guess you could kind of consider that smaller, maybe not, maybe so. Street Fighter 6, also not a smaller game, but it is kind of considered niche. We're starting to blur the lines a little bit.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 16 has also released. Octopath Traveler 2, Dead Island 2. So many indies have come out. I can think of like Atomic Hearts has come out this year.
Didn't Hi-Fi Rush come out this year?
Hi-Fi Rush came out this year.
I haven't even played my PlayStation this year. I at least looked at my recent games. I haven't touched a single game on it this year.
Well,
I don't know why. I don't know why you're whispering.
You sacrificed a
It's a
lot for our
secret.
Halo days, and I appreciate.
Yeah, you guys are
that.
still.
Honestly,
you guys are still
that's
Halo.
probably just gonna end up being my game of the year because I don't really care about anything else I played this year.
That's all you need, honestly.
We did get a new Harry Potter game that came out. That came out very to critical and commercial acclaim. I think it is one of the best-selling games of the year. Some other titles
on pre-orders alone.
It did, yeah. The boycott went very well.
Luckily,
Jake.
none of these games you
wasn't doing
mentioned have
that.
any controversy. So
yeah, luckily none of them have. So anyways, that's a roundabout way of saying that it's been a very good year. And what I want to kind of do with this is I told you guys before that game of the year can mean a lot of things, but for us, it just means what was your favorite game that you played this year? So my example before we were recording was like, if you played Mario 64 this year, fuck it, that's your game of the year. That's the game that impacted you the most so far. And then of course, this is also, we're in the middle of the year. We're just kind of getting a feel of it because maybe right now Final Fantasy 16 is our game of the year, but after Armored Core and Spider-Man 2 and whatever, it's not our game of the year anymore. Or after thinking about it for a few months, we're like, maybe that game that I thought was a 9 is actually an 8, you know? So
or maybe we'll go up to a 10.
Or maybe it'll go up to a 10. Maybe you'll look back fondly and be like, that game was actually
a positive side.
Really fucking good. Mr. Positive over here and me always just being negative about everything. But
counterbalance you somehow.
Roger, I do want to kind of kick it to you first, not only because our two other co-hosts want to kind of like think about things some more, but also I feel like our tastes specifically are similar in games.
Dude, this year at least it's been like super aligned. It's really funny.
Yeah,
bad games.
That's what it is. Yeah, we just bad games.
Well, JRPGs, so yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the shittiest games on earth.
I don't know how you guys make time for those kind of games. I don't ever feel like I have time to do jack shit and like a platformer.
Well, you know, to jump better. I don't know. So Roger,
not to bash platformers, but you know,
what are your games? Maybe save if you have a game of the year already, save that for last. But what are some notable games that you've played this year?
Sure. So didn't I play Persona 4 Golden this year? Right?
You did.
That's like the main game that didn't come out this year that I played this year. That's like up there.
I'm pretty sure you played Persona 5 this year too, didn't you?
I think that was the end of last year.
Technically, also, I just want to throw technically, Persona 4 Golden did release this year on Xbox and Switch.
True, so it counts.
So it kind of is a new game, and you did play it on the Xbox too. So I mean, like,
did I play Persona 5 Royal this year, or was that? I thought it was the end of last year.
I think that was last year.
I'll check.
He went backwards.
Jake would know better than I would. That's for sure.
I'm gonna get the receipts.
I'll also say this though, like in terms of those two games, I keep going back and forth on which one I like better. Like I love them both so much. A couple different reasons, but also for very similar reasons. So yeah, those are up there. And I strongly considered the problem with that.
Oh yeah, you beat it in November.
Yeah. Okay. So, you know, I was right. You were wrong. So like maybe don't like interrupt me next time with your wrong.
So you played Power Wash Simulator this year.
True. Actually, I'm going to end it right here. Power Wash Simulator, best game I've played.
All right. Well, that's all. If you like this show, please support. No, I'm just kidding.
Honestly, that might be one of my favorites this year.
Dude, we had a lot of fun on that one.
Yeah, we did. We need to go back and 100% it.
We would just play Power Wash and just talk. It was kind of nice.
Yeah, we would play Halo, and then we would like get so burnt out and like tired of Halo that we would just like relax and unwind in Power Wash Simulator.
Yeah.
No, like so like. Because I can't decide even which Persona is my favorite, I have a hard time if I like, because I strongly consider putting Persona 4 Golden as like my favorite this year. And honestly, since this is so far, I still might. I don't know.
Yeah.
But for now, I'm gonna wait on that, even though I loved it and I love Persona 5 Royal as well. So the other like big one, there's like three big ones for me in terms of like the contestants, and you know what
I feel like I kind of know. Wait, let me just guess real quick.
Sure, go ahead.
Resident Evil 4 remake?
No.
Really?
But I love Resident Evil 4 remake.
Final Fantasy 16?
Yep.
Tears of the Kingdom?
Yep.
What's that other one? Diablo 4?
No, Persona 4. It was Persona 4.
Okay. I thought you said there were three other ones. My bad.
You know what? Okay. If there was a fourth one, it would be Resident Evil 4 remake.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of things I like about that. But that one's kind of weird. It's like it's got its own identity, but it is also a remake, and I don't know how to like where to put that. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, this is the same conversation that's come up with all the remakes so far, Resident Evil 2 and 3. Less 3 because that one wasn't as good, but definitely Resident Evil 2 remake, which was,
Yeah.
Resident Evil 3 is like an 8.5, but Resident Evil 2 is like a 9.5,
So, but the thing about Resident Evil 2 is it like completely reinvented what the original was. Whereas
Yeah,
like
that's
4,
fair.
and I don't know if it's just the over the shoulder perspective, but there's still a lot of core elements that are the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they made a lot of minor updates that made it overall. I think it's one of those games that, in my opinion, like when you add up each little part and each little thing they did, it seems minor, but it's kind of like the sum of its parts. It's greater than the sum of its parts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
It all adds to an experience.
And I think it is that thing that we're running into where it's like remaking anything that started in the 3D era, aside from the PlayStation 1, of course, because the PlayStation 1, it is 3D, but it's also like you can see the pixels still,
Yeah.
But anything PS2 and Xbox and GameCube onward, whenever you are remaking those games, I feel like you either have to go all out or it feels more like a reimagining or a remaster.
Yeah. It honestly, it blurs all those lines between reimagining and remake. Like that line specifically is so like it's hard to pinpoint what that is. I think remastered's pretty cut and dry. It's just like a new coat of paint essentially.
Yeah, definitely.
At least that's how I view it. But
no, I think that's what most people view remaster as, is like HD or whatever.
I see as this: remaster, same engine, new coat of paint. Remake, the game remade from the ground up.
Yeah,
that's fair. That's a good.
And the reimagining would be something like, ironically, Final Fantasy VII remake.
Yeah. I agree.
You could make an argument that RE4 remake is a reimagining. It's
kind of.
There's no thanks, bro. So
that's true.
Yeah, but you're right. There isn't.
The canon's different.
There is some other one-liners in there that
that's
I
true.
don't
They
think
had
make up
some
for it, but they got some new ones.
Ada Wong's voice actress phoned it in.
Yeah, we don't need to.
No, dude. I don't know if you've been following Diablo 4, but it's gotten pretty controversial right now.
Surprisingly, I have not.
Yeah. I've been a little mixed on it, if I'm being completely honest with you. And I'm trying to it's one of those things where it's like I am so used to other Diablo games and how those work that relearning this, it's been a bit of a struggle. And it's like trying to find that balance of okay, just because they change something doesn't mean it's a negative, but I kind of feel like it's a negative.
Yeah, that's fair.
And it's something we'd have to kind of go into depth about because they've made a lot of changes that are kind of frustrating. And there's actually a lot of drama right now because they just released a patch that basically nerfed every fucking character and build and made it just grindier in general.
Oh, love that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool right for the new season with the battle pass and everything. So not a great sign.
Activision's good Activision.
Yeah. So I'm a little mixed on Diablo 4. So it comes down to Zelda, Final Fantasy, and then Persona 4. Those 3 experiences I've had almost no any negative has been out, the positive has outshined it so greatly.
Yeah, that's fair. And you recently you did beat Final Fantasy 16 recently.
Yeah.
And obviously
started New Game Plus a little bit. I haven't gotten too far into that.
And then you've also beaten Tears of the Kingdom. So these are all games that you have completed and I don't need 100% them, but 100%ing Zelda is honestly insane.
Yeah, it's
but content complete. You would say content. Complete.
Oh yeah, I've
so
done anything else I have left to do in Zelda is very small things that I just don't feel like.
Just don't feel like doing it all that. Yeah,
and then for Final Fantasy 16, other than playing through it again on New Game Plus, that's all I really have left to do on that game. I've done everything that I could do in my first playthrough.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and jump in about Final Fantasy 16 because it is not my game of the year so far because I have not beaten it yet. According to the little PlayStation 5 tracker, I'm 53% through, and honestly, it's kind of like a double-edged sword because on the one hand, I really want to keep playing to get through those bigger moments and stuff like that. I'm at the part right now where. Well, I don't want to really say any spoilers, but our main character is having some issues with his superpower. And it's one of those things where it's so frustrating right now, but I know it's going to lead to this amazing moment when it actually does fulfill what it's trying to do. but it's really good and I really want to get through it, but I'm also really enjoying just like coming back to it and like just like getting back into this world and honestly just like walking around the plains and getting on my chocobo and stuff.
I
I'm
will
just
say
really
this: it
enjoying
does world building really well.
Mhm.
That's what I like. So Final Fantasy 16, it's one of those things where like the music's obviously great, right? Like it's fantastic.
Yeah.
World building's really good. I really enjoy the characters. There's some structure and pacing things that I don't really mind because of how I play games, but it does kind of like make the flow of it kind of weird. If that makes
Definitely.
any sense.
No, definitely. Yeah.
However, I think the reasons they do some of this stuff is for that world building aspect, and they do that really well. So, and I would say that game has a lot of good payoff for a lot of
Yeah.
things. Some of the setups, you know, you can make an argument whether they work or not, but I think the payoff, every payoff of that game hits for me.
Yeah.
And I know you mentioned in the group chat that some people were a little mixed on the ending. And I know why. I can't talk about it, but I know why. I'll just say that I really enjoyed the ending, and I talked to a coworker about it who also beat it, and he also like fucking
Yeah.
over the moon about it.
Yeah.
So
We won't get too much into it, but I will say that when it comes to the ending, I have no fear. I've beaten a lot of Final Fantasies, and I Final Fantasy 15, that fucking ending, like, you know, it's just like I can see how they can get pretty, and especially with this kind of grounded story, grounded in quotes, but you know, it's kind of going for that. People keep comparing to Game of Thrones. I compare it to just like medieval Europe because that's more akin to what it is.
yeah,
But I can
it's
see where it
still
could like jump
what
the
I
shark.
appreciate about it, and this is what this is like the point of Final Fantasy, right? Is it's very final. It's very final, right? Like this could be the last game. That's like their mindset for each of those ones.
Whoa.
So
Really?
I know it's crazy. I know. However, all that
Never
being said,
guessed.
and how much I love it, and again, this might be some recency bias towards these games being my favorites because these are the ones I've played recently. I still think Tears of the Kingdom might be my game of the year so far, just because the way I engaged with that game was kind of unlike any other game, and how much time I spent into it. And there was like different milestones where I would like feel different ways towards different things. And I remember at the halfway mark, certain things would start to get boring for me, and then I would switch it up. And when I mean halfway mark, I mean like, you know, 60, 80 hours.
Yeah,
so then it's like, well, how much of that is just the fact that I put so much goddamn time into this
say
game?
the length of a normal game times 3.
And then I think I total put 200 hours into that game.
I think you did. Yeah, it was very high,
which is pretty crazy. If I'm being honest, in the short amount of time that I did, so I think right now it might be Tears of Kingdom just because of how I engaged with that game, dude.
No, totally. Yeah. And, you know, speaking of Tears of the Kingdom, Ida, kick it over to you because I'm willing to bet, you know, we don't really know each other's game of the years. We don't even have like a type list or anything, but I'm willing to bet that Tears of the Kingdom is in the conversation for your game of the year so far.
Maybe, maybe not.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not going to hide anything. It was 100% Tears of the Kingdom.
Okay, it is.
There's the high contender of Persona 4. I think Roger and I almost are identical with our feelings towards both of those and where they.
It's also like kind of feels
stack.
unfair comparing those, doesn't it? Because they're such different experiences.
Yeah,
they're totally different.
So different. Yeah. I mean, and exactly, I did my review and I rated Persona 4 a 9.1. And Tears of the Kingdom got an 8.1. And when we do the spoiler cast, we will dive far into. I am way harder on Tears of the Kingdom and Zelda games in general than I am any other game. And I don't think I'd be a true Zelda fan if I thought everything that they came out with was pure gold. Just blind lust for everything Zelda. So it's definitely been an unforgettable experience. I remember when I played Breath of the Wild for the first time, and I think playing Tears of the Kingdom was like ×2, ×3.
Really? Interesting.
It was just going back to Breath of the Wild, because I've booted up Breath of the Wild a couple times since Tears of the Kingdom, and it still feels magical, but it's very much Tears of the Kingdom was what they wanted Breath of the Wild to
I hear
be.
some people feel like say Tears of the Kingdom is almost like Breath of the Wild. Like instead of Breath of the Wild 2, it's almost like a remake of Breath of the Wild. It's like in a lot of
Well,
ways.
I mean, it initially started its life as just DLC.
Did it? Is that confirmed?
Yeah, that is confirmed.
Oh.
Like it's just like he's kept coming up with ideas, and they're like, well, this is gonna take too long. I think it was probably the fuse mechanic. I think that was what it was like. This is too big of a mechanic for it to just be DLC because
Just breaks the whole game.
Yeah, it just breaks the whole game.
Jake, I'll kick it over to you in a second, but I do want to make a comment on and we're still on. We're not gonna run away from you, Ida, but talking about
you gave Roger 20 minutes. Ida gets 3. It's fine.
I'm just talking about.
Well, I mean, that's how equality between men and women work. We get the men.
Boy, he said it.
Exactly.
He said it.
But you're talking about
you got your time.
Talking about that like magical moment or like feel like being in awe and things like that. For me personally, Tears of the Kingdom, I did not feel that.
I know.
I definitely did in Breath of the Wild, and I think that was a lot of its allure was how new and big and vast and different it was compared to not only Zelda but honestly almost every other game. But with Tears of the Kingdom, it honestly was kind of more of an annoyance the first 15 hours because I was like, all right, I get it, I know how to play this game.
I landed on the ground. I was like, right, let's get the towers.
Yep, right.
Let's get the towers, fill out the map.
I've done this before, so
it's funny. I interact with that the exact opposite as you, Jake. I like towers was like one of the last things I did.
Don't understand.
I am the same way, Jake, actually. In this
so weird
because I wanted to kind of like play it differently than I played Breath of the Wild, because Breath of the Wild I did go all the towers and things like that, but this one I kind of wanted to pace myself and really like explore and like feel every area, which I think did lead to a bigger enjoyment of the game for me, but it still was like, I don't know, I definitely enjoy Tears of the Kingdom right now more than I enjoyed Breath of the Wild a few months after its release, but I wasn't that hot on Breath of the Wild, so
you're also like, you got to give yourself time to breathe with that game,
Yeah, it can get really overwhelming,
and
really.
It's like, you definitely shouldn't go after all the Koroks first thing.
Dude, you guys always bring
up.
We
give you so much shit for that.
You guys always bring up how like that's why I don't like the game. I'm telling you, when I dedicated like 10 hours and I got 300 and something Koroks, that was the most fun I had in that game. By far, it was.
I don't want to take away from like how you felt towards that game, because that's perfectly valid. But I will say that like, you got a lot of shit going on in your life right now and a lot of other stuff coming out. So like, I understand it. Like,
it was hard to keep
just not
focused on one
you.
singular title. Yeah.
I don't have time. It's like I 100%ed pretty much. I mean, I didn't like walk the entire map and get all the Koroks, but I had pretty much 100%ed Breath of the Wild. I got all the armor, got all the like shrines, did everything. I don't have time to 100% an open world game anymore. I just
right.
I'm just gonna beat it.
Yeah.
Yeah, too many games, too many things going on, things like that. But I am going to get back to it. I actually decided not to do what I'm going to do. I'm going to kick it back over to Ida. So what are some other games, if that is your game of the year so far, do you have any like honorable mentions or games that you kind of want to like give a shout out to or put in the spotlight for a second?
I don't think Cult of the Lamb got the recognition it deserved. I don't know if any of you have played it.
It was pretty big when it first hit, and then it kind of just dropped off. It was like a come and go sort of thing.
And I really don't understand it. I mean, I loved it.
Work, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you're Shovel Knight.
Yeah.
Guys, I'd say Shovel Knight has a ravenous fan base, but it reminds me of something like Celeste, where Celeste was fantastic.
Yeah, Celeste is fantastic.
But it's an indie game that, these games don't really have long legs, to give a metaphor to it. You play the game, you say how amazing it is, but then it's like, all right, that's it.
Or just Hi-Fi Rush. We talked about that earlier. That was kind of the same way. Came out, everybody loved it. It was great. 2 weeks, and then you never hear about it again.
Gone. Yeah.
Right.
But Cult of the Lamb is, I played that this year too for the first time because of you, because you were giving us so much praise, and I probably put I don't know, like 3 or 4 hours into it on my Steam Deck. Great Steam Deck game, and I really did enjoy it. I like the whole sort of village simulation that it's got going on, but also the dungeon crawling mechanics. It reminds me of I want to say like The Binding of Isaac, but much more melee focused instead of whatever you want to call, not melee focused. You're shooting tears in Binding of Isaac. But no, that is a fantastic game. Oh yeah, the art,
for
art's
sure.
the art's great.
Oh, absolutely. That's what drew me to it in the beginning.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Totally. So, do you have any others that you would want to?
I mean, I think Roger and I know Roger has definitely played a little bit of it, but I played The Longing, and
yeah, that's almost not a
it's a
game. That's like an
good game.
experience.
It
It's
is.
like
It
weird
is.
to like judge that.
Was it called The Longing?
It's called The
The
Longing.
Longing.
Yeah, it's what it is it's this game where you control a little character known as a shade, and you have 400 days until he gets out. The game's just like, hey, you gotta wait here for 400 days, and then you'll be released. And it's like real time days, and it's like a purposefully slow game, and it's just kind of like this weird, almost like reflective might be a little cliche, but like it just
I
like
agree with that though.
well, it's like take your time is very much how it
Mhm.
approaches things, and it like it he almost becomes like a Tamagotchi or whatever. Like you just like to check in on him, see how the shade's doing, want to make his life comfortable. He'll say things as he's walking around. It's just a cool like experience is like how I would put that. It is really neat. Yeah, I forgot about that, but yeah, you're totally right.
I'm reading
it's definitely
about it.
not in it's definitely not in like the gaming game category, but as an experience goes, it's definitely there's not a whole lot of experience games like it.
Now, have you beaten it? Have you hit the full 400 days? Because I haven't.
I have beaten it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've got to the end. I've gotten
there's like
to the
this
400
weird
days
anticipation,
and
I'm not even halfway through, and there's like this
I've gotten
no spoilers.
No.
Okay, because I'm actually interested in this now. I put it on my wish list.
Okay, then I won't say anything more. I've beaten it twice.
Oh,
800 days. There you go.
Dude, congrats. Yeah, because like there's this weird anticipation because like you just like the shade, the character, you don't know what the fuck happens at 400 days. You just know that's when it ends.
Right. So. And he's so lovable because for me, I couldn't put it down because I didn't want to leave him alone because he would make comments about I'm alone and I don't want to be alone and when will the darkness end? And it's just like, buddy, I'm right here. I'll take care of you.
He'll also like make cute little comments when you're like controlling him walking. He's like, oh, a piece of coal dropped. I'll pick this up, buddy. He'll just be like, you're coming. He's like, time to return you to your home. Like he just makes these cute little comments throughout the game.
It's so cute.
Yeah.
And you can make him little rugs and he makes his little bed he can sleep in and he reads books. He loves reading books.
It has the whole Moby Dick as a book in the game. Like the actual entire novel Moby Dick.
That's not even the longest book. The longest book is like almost 10,000 pages.
Is it?
You know, that's interesting because Moby Dick, I believe, is one of those public domain books, and video games just throwing in a whole bunch of public domain. Like that's not a bad idea. I don't know why more games and just media in general don't do that. Because there's even like some I think movies now and shit
Lovecraftian ones all the time.
Yeah, they like to do Lovecraftian, but just some other things of like I feel like people really. And it probably has something to do with like the artist being like, I just want what I make in here, not something else. But I do like it when games and other interactive media does that sometimes. So
agreed.
No, but really cool. Cool games. Jake, did you think of anything?
I mean, I guess I was just thinking back. I haven't really played anything like really new this year. It's like as far as new to me, that is.
Yeah, because thinking about
they played the Evil Dead game, which was a lot of fun, but I wouldn't say that's my game of the year by far.
Yeah.
Sword and
I
Shield?
haven't had enough. Yeah, no. Pokemon is not on my list at all at any point.
Wow,
yeah,
interesting.
I mean, I played all the way through Tears of the Kingdom, and I mean, you guys have basically said your pieces on that.
You hated every second of it.
I didn't hate every second. I just got it just became a monotonous like set of tasks to do until I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna beat the game.
Yeah, and you weren't too no spoilers, of course, but you weren't too keen on the ending either. Like it wasn't bad, but it wasn't like amazing.
It was fine. Like it was I would say epic. It just kind of ended up being very kind of like been there, done that.
Yeah, it's a Zelda ending. I think cinematic is the word I would use.
Cinematic.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I think the fight with Ganondorf at the end was a little lackluster per se.
Yeah,
like he had
I would
he had
agree with
he had
that.
like 4 attacks, and he would just cycle through those 4 attacks over and over again, and it was
once
really
you learn his patterns, not too bad.
I got it down to like 2 hearts very fast with no way to recover because of gloom, and I will never stop saying how much I hate that mechanic. But for like
you just got to be smarter than the gloom.
80%,
Yeah.
but for 80% of the
It's not that
fight,
bad.
I didn't lose a single heart after that once I learned his pattern. So it's
Yeah.
like,
I mean,
okay, well,
yeah, which is very
But that's
very
kind
in
of a
character
struggle a
with-
lot of Zelda games have is with their final boss, because it's
Exactly.
like
except for
their
Twilight
adventure
Princess.
games. You're right. Twilight Princess did
Mhm.
it pretty good.
And that's the problem is that Twilight Princess has
And
like
it felt like it was trying to recapture that sword fight from Twilight Princess.
No, what made maybe, but like what made Twilight Princess good is like it had so many phases to where like you would be using your entire arsenal, including your wolf form.
Yeah.
So it's like everything you've acquired that journey you would use.
I mean, you could auto build something into that arena with Ganondorf, but why would you? That'd be stupid. I mean, you can,
but like
and people have, and it's really
I
stupid
didn't
when
even
they
know
do
you
it.
could.
I did it.
Yeah, people have made
I did it for the
contraptions where you
waves.
just drop it on him and it slams him up against the wall, and then they reverse it to
Right.
slam him against the other wall until he dies.
That's so great. I love
really
that.
Which is hilarious.
It's the creativity that they
Yeah.
wanted to bring.
It's like you have that whole epic shot of Link pulling out the sword, it lights up, and then here's a box, boom, rocket. But no, I mean, like, you know, I think the story was much better than Breath of the Wild's for sure.
it's not hard to do.
I didn't care about any of the characters in the world at all, like I did in Breath of the Wild.
Really?
Like I was just I don't.
So you like the characters in Breath of the Wild more? Really?
I just think they were like, I don't know. There's like a little bit more agency. I don't know. Like it felt like if this like stuff was a little bit more dire in Breath of the Wild.
I kind of agree with that. Yeah, I do too.
I think like
the
whole
I don't at
meeting
all,
with
but
Sidon
entitled to
and
your
all the
opinion.
other champions' descendants. It felt like there was like manifest destiny almost. Like, you know. This is all like, everything's been leading up to this, and then they kind of come back as like, oh well, you know, we helped out last time, we're here again, and it's like there wasn't like, oh, Sidon has a fiance now. It's, you know, we didn't have anything special, I guess. We have a statue of me riding on his back, but it's whatever.
That's right. So, that's why he doesn't like it, is because Sidon didn't get with Link.
Yeah,
it's a shame.
Oof. But I can complain
about.
I can complain about Tears of the Kingdom all day, but you know, we'll get to it in the spoiler cast, I guess. I think I said a lot, but
just
I guess the only other game I've really played this year was Halo and Diablo a little bit.
Yeah, but we didn't play enough of
really,
it.
I didn't ever beat Metroid Prime. I just haven't had like.
Well,
it's like
you
every time
talked about that game so much.
He talks about
and
Metroid
you didn't
Dread.
beat it.
I beat Metroid Dread. I just haven't had like any time to play like Prime or Shattered
listen,
Dimensions.
Jake, it's
like
a game of the year so far. So like, if you haven't completed a game, if you still feel like that's
totally.
the best experience, you know, you can put
I
that.
agree.
Yeah, that can be.
But Prime, it's hard for me to put it up there because it's like I've played through Prime before. So it's like it's Prime again, but it looks pretty.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
And it's easier to access now, which is nice.
Is it kind of the same dilemma we have with Resident Evil 4?
Where it's like a little bit less because it's literally like with Resident Evil 4, it's been completely remade, but with Prime, it's literally the exact same game with new. It's like they just updated the textures.
Gotcha.
But it loses points because you can't see your reflection in that one object in that one room in the very beginning of the game.
The very specific.
Ruined it.
Yeah,
it ruined it. Trash.
But I guess I don't know. Probably put Spider-Man on my game of the year so far.
I'm so proud of you.
I haven't
changed my answer
super
too.
far
I want to
into
be
it.
Spider-Man.
But Shattered Dimensions, it came out like, you know, we had the Spider-Man movie, really into it, and then I just started playing that, and I'm really into that.
But you've been talking about that for like years now. You've been wanting.
I know. I've always been wanting to play that and Edge of Time.
Are you going to go and play Edge of Time, or are you going to wait a little bit?
Yeah, I'll play it right after I beat it, and then I'll get Final Fantasy 16. But I've been wanting to play through like all the Spider-Man games. So,
you've played Web of Shadows, right?
Yeah, I didn't love that one. Everyone loves it, but I mean, I played through the Dark storyline first. Maybe that's why I didn't love it. But
the Dark storyline's awesome. I mean, the good storyline is like classic Spider-Man, and the Dark storyline is just like cool because it's fucked up.
Yeah, I don't know, and maybe that's why I didn't like it because it wasn't like Spider-Man-y. But it just like also the performance of that game near the end of it like just got really bad because of how many things are happening at once.
Well, and also like as you upgrade your web swinging speed, you can like you start to break the game.
Oh yeah, it's insane how fast you swing in that.
Which I love it.
I think the combat's fun.
I'm all for it.
I thought some of the boss fights weren't that great. Like I hated the Electro one. Like that one was just like almost impossible for me, at least. Like it just I barely beat it.
Sorry, we'll go to Andrew because we've gone way off topic. But if you want to talk about bad boss fights in Spider-Man games, dude, Ultimate Spider-Man. Oh my god!
Oh, I want to play that too.
Some of the most bullshit fucking bosses I've ever experienced in a game. It's insane. But that game, you get to eat people's venom, so it's a 10 out of 10.
See, I have that on GameCube, but I don't have my GameCube or Wii out right now, so I might just download it on Dolphin from my Steam Deck and play through it.
Whoa. Mm-hmm. We don't use Dolphin. Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge.
We're not big enough for anyone to care.
Yeah, assuming you play that game in a totally legal way, it's definitely worth a playthrough.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? It's not necessarily illegal. It's a gray area.
I would say it's probably one of the harder to play Spider-Man games.
You're making me want to see if I can fish it out somewhere.
So you have it on Xbox, don't you?
I either have it on Xbox or PS2. I can't remember.
So through the whole tangent, I'm Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. That's what you're saying is your far game of the year.
That's the one I've had the most fun playing.
Okay,
good. That's fine.
And I would say Halo, but I haven't had fun playing that game. I've enjoyed my time with Roger, but I've not been having fun.
Our experience with Halo, I don't even know what to call it.
You guys are never going to want to play it again. That's what's going to happen.
We already don't want to play it again.
It's like neither fun, but it's not like we hate it either. It's like this weird melancholic.
Dude, I've been on the platinum grind. I've been on the 100. I get it.
Yeah,
I think Roger and I just need to do a complete playthrough of all the games on easy after we do this.
It also doesn't help that like we have to play it in the stupidest fucking way possible when we do our playthroughs. Like we're on a lasso playthrough and we're like, what happens if we take Johnson all the way to the level? Well, no, let's find out.
Or we'll just like keep brute forcing ourselves into a wall. Like this isn't working, but we're gonna do it like 37 more times until it works. And then it doesn't, so we just get back to cuts. Like we lose a checkpoint. And then redo something slightly differently and then get through it in like one pass. It's like, wow, we spent 2 hours trying to brute force our way through this when we should have just killed everyone, taken 10 minutes to do it because we're cracked at this game, but we don't think we are. And we just do it normally.
All right. Well, I don't know how to follow that up, but I'm just gonna steal it away now. There's actually quite a few games that I want to talk about, and I'll save my game of the year for last. And it's actually a game that we haven't mentioned yet. Well, you'll find out if you keep listening.
I want to know. I'm on the edge of my seat right now.
There are a lot of games that I do want to give like shout outs to and like talk about a little bit. The first one is one that I recently platinumed. It's not a hard platinum. It took an hour to beat, and that's also the platinum. But it's this free game on PS5 called The Light in the Darkness. It's not necessarily a great game. The actual gameplay mechanics are more or less walking. And then they have like 2, maybe 3 mini games throughout the whole thing. But it's this game that you play as a Jewish family in Nazi occupied France during the invasion of World War II. And it just kind of does this little retelling of this family. And you can tell that this was made by a small team and it's on like a very small budget. But it was a game that really impacted me. And, I played it at like 2 a.m. and I was just filled with profound sadness and despair. Yeah. And once I beat it, so I was like, oh, perfect. Time to go to bed. But it is a great game that I do recommend anyone with PS5 check out at least. It's a good reminder about like, don't be racist. Don't be all these other things. Anti-Semitism is bad. Who could have thought that? Because it actually it's not just showing the Nazis wanting to kill the Jews, but it's showing all the like propaganda that they did and how they turned the common day person. Yeah, how they turned the common day person against Jewish people. Mm-hmm. And even I learned something.
Looks like an interesting.
Yeah.
I like the art style.
It's only, like I said, it's an hour long. It's an automatic platinum if you care about that. And, it's a good little education game.
You reminded me by saying that I did play My Friend Peppa Pig and 100% of that this year.
That was your game of the year. That's right.
That was definitely my game of the year. That and Coffee Talk.
Impressive.
Whatever the antipode.
Hey, do not talk shit on Coffee Talk.
I'm not talking shit. I had a good time.
You got really defensive there, Ida. That was
whatever.
I have not beaten it because Tears of the Kingdom came out. I thoroughly enjoyed Coffee Talk.
It was a neat experience. I did all the things you can do in that, and that was interesting.
I'm excited to finish it. I might actually pick it up now.
Yeah, right now. The second.
Because I'm in a break because I'm playing the Story of Seasons: A Wonderful Life, and it's way more disappointing than I thought it was going to be.
Have you played the original Wonderful Life?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Many years ago.
Because there's some things about that game where going back to it's kind of fucking rough, and I'm wondering if they address some of those stuff or not.
We'll see. I might go back to it eventually if I can find it somewhere, but who knows if I can.
It's on the PlayStation Store.
There you go.
I won't.
You freaking Nintendo nerd.
Yeah, that's me.
Whatever the antipode of game of the year is, that's what Peppa Pig is to me.
Oh,
I fucking.
What'd she ever do to you?
That goddamn game.
Terrible.
Andrew and I know.
And
we're probably the only people our age that know.
Know what's the funny thing, Jake?
What's that?
It plays exactly like the show.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
You know what? What would make a better game?
Bluey.
Exactly. Yeah, I was gonna say Bluey.
Yep.
So much better. Like I see clips from that, and it's such a Peppa Pig kind of show, but it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
it's better.
Like, it's just a good. It's the first children's show I've seen since I was a child. But I'm like, that's a good show.
Yeah. Anyways, way off topic. So The Light in the Darkness, not my game of the year, but definitely a fantastic. It's free too, so it's like you can't get better than that. Go out, check it out. It's on PS5. I'm just kind of working in reverse chronological order. Street Fighter 6. I really enjoyed that game. I didn't enjoy the campaign, but I almost platinumed it. And yeah, this was the first fighting game since Dead or Alive 6. I think, where I really got into it. And, I was sitting there and I was actually doing like tutorials and learning combos and all the things like that. And I really love the soundtrack of that game. I have it on my Spotify mix now. Nice. Really makes me want to exercise, which Lord knows I need more things that make me want to do that. Yeah, just an all-around good game. It's really, really fun. And I like that they also had the control scheme where they have this, what they call modern controls, and it just means it's simpler. Instead of having to do like a quarter circle up B or whatever to do a combo, you hold R1 and hit square.
Oh, I would like that so much more.
If you've ever struggled with fighting games where it's like the combos are too difficult, try Street Fighter 6 and the modern controls. You might get shit from like fighting game fans who are like, that's not the real way to play. Fuck them. Who cares? You're playing the game. You're having fun. You can do the exact same things.
I'm surprised it took them this long to do something like that.
Right? Yeah, no, the accessibility in this game is really fantastic. And the new moves that they have, like they have this button with the L1 where it like turns into this like morphing. You've probably seen it in the trailer and stuff where all the colors start shining out. It kind of looks like paint. Yeah. I really enjoyed the mechanics with that. And then also I honestly dug the avatar creator in it too, where you're making your own Street Fighter.
They've always had pretty decent like creation for that stuff.
Yeah. I like that you can kind of like go and you find the different masters, which are just characters, and then you start learning their moves. You can customize your character to have different move sets from other people.
It's like them in Soul Calibur. It's always been fun to fuck with a
Soul Calibur is just this is fantastic. And we need Soul Calibur 7, I think we're on now. Whatever that is.
Please.
Isn't there a new one already out like in arcades? But like it just takes forever for it to come out on like console.
I wouldn't be surprised. There's always all those fighting games. Tekken 8, I think, has been out in arcades for a while now. Like they always come out in arcades first. But yeah, Street Fighter 6, highly recommend that. You were talking about Diablo earlier. I actually haven't played Diablo yet. I have it, but I just haven't gotten around to it because there's been so much other shit.
I really don't want to say anything because I don't want to influence how you feel about that game, even though I've already fucked that up by saying a bunch of shit in the beginning.
No, trust me, you didn't. I listen to so many different people about opinions on games. It's just like I feel like all of it doesn't really get to me anymore.
It's just like for every positive, there's like an equal negative to that game is my big issue with it. And like the longer I play it, the more it kind of grinds on me. However, I need to play through a different character because the character I'm playing I'm not enjoying as much. So, and season 1 just dropped. So actually, honestly, dude, now's the perfect time to try it out.
All right, yeah, I'm definitely gonna give it a shot soon. It's installed, so it's just waiting for me to click start. We kind of talked about Final Fantasy 16. I fucking love it. I love everything about it. There are a few things where I wish things were a little different. They're a little controversial, but I'm gonna save that though because I feel like me and Roger.
Give me a taste. Give me a.
It's about it being an RPG, or more of it's not an RPG.
That is more than fair.
Yeah,
and you're right. We got to get into that because
no, we will. We'll definitely have an episode where we talk about it.
Yeah, I could go on. I could get into it. I'm not going to. Keep going.
Yeah, no, it's we'll just leave it there. I freaking love the game, but I understand what people are saying when they're saying it's not Final Fantasy. I get it. I don't agree with it.
I still wouldn't go that far, but I would say in terms
I don't agree with it.
I think where you're saying where it's like an RPG necessarily, I think you might want to view it more as an action adventure game.
Exactly. Yep. Mm-hmm. Definitely. It's more like Devil May Cry, of course.
Well, listen, I'm one of those people that's like, I'm always for a game trying something new in a franchise. I'm never against that. Now, sometimes they'll try something new and it'll be bad. I think Halo's a good example of that. Yeah. But I'm always for them
twice, three
attempting
times.
It. Yeah.
It's like the only good thing they ever did that was different from the status quo since 343 took over was Halo Wars 2.
I was about to say, don't you dare.
Halo Wars 2 was pretty good. Halo Infinite was doomed the second they made it live service. All right.
Incredible. Halo Wars 2 it ended up as good as it was.
Other honorable mentions that I've kind of played through but didn't really get that far into, Like a Dragon Inshin, which is a remake, or I guess a port / HD port of I don't know what it was called, but it's a PS3 game that came out in Japan fucking, I guess, 14 years ago now or something. We finally got in the West. It's Yakuza. It plays like Yakuza 3 for better or for worse. If you like classic Yakuza gameplay, there it is for you. But I'm definitely going to get back into that more sometime. Hogwarts Legacy, I also was really enjoying my time. That game just fucking... I wanted one thing from that game, and that was for me to feel like I was in Harry Potter, and it did it.
And it nailed it.
It nailed it.
There's like other things you can nitpick about it, but they got that atmosphere and setting down to a T.
And the music too, all of it.
And the music. And that's why I kind of mean like atmosphere. It all like it all melodies into like this feeling, and and that's the most important thing it had to get, and it did it.
Totally. That's one of those games where I'm like, okay, I'm not like super into it. Obviously, I haven't beaten all that, but it's one of those games where a Thanksgiving break, a Christmas break, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to start playing it, and I'm just going to get fucking lost for 50 hours.
Oh, yeah.
I can already tell, like, that's what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Not right now, but, sometime. Resident Evil 4 Remake, we also touched on. I really enjoyed it. I played Dead Space Remake also, but I didn't get that far. I've always been more kind of attracted to Resident Evil, even with like 5 and 6 more than Dead Space. I think Dead Space is great. Specifically the second one, which they'll probably remake now. But there's just something about the characters, the cheesy dialogue, the kind of like more... I mean, it's on Earth, it's Resident Evil takes place like this time in a village and things like that.
What?
I know, right? There's just something about the setting and the characters and stuff where it appeals to me a lot more. I get people that like Dead Space more.
Well, it's sci-fi horror, it's just a genre.
Yeah.
You'll probably prefer one or the other.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm more about that kind of like grounded as Resident Evil can be.
Yeah.
I like that type of horror better. Can't really think of too many other games that I have played this year aside from my game of the year.
Well, I'll interrupt you because you mentioned Octopath Traveler 2. And I've been like loosely playing through the first one this year, and I'll add that as an honorable mention. That game has like a weird pacing and structure to it, but everything else that game, I think it does superbly.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I'm excited to play through Octopath Traveler 2, and then also I have Triangle Strategy as well, which was their tactics game that came out.
Yeah.
Right? All these names are they're so weird.
I like how it's always like a pending name, and then it's just like as soon as Triangle Strategy, I was like, that's gonna be the name. And then it was, and I was like, wow, what a shock. It was Triangle Strategy the whole time.
I think it works though because Square Enix has so many JRPGs already, and I mean, these games are basically like spiritual successor spin-offs to the classic pixel Final Fantasy games. So I think like giving it a generic name would just become a generic name, but everyone knows Octopath Traveler. What we're talking about when we say that, because it's such a weird name.
Square Enix, they know how to market and sell these games. Like if there's somebody that's going to get these games out and doing well, it's Square Enix.
No, definitely, yeah, definitely. I talked about Zelda earlier.
Did you?
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, we have all talked about Zelda.
Yeah,
this has been a Zelda spoilercast Lite.
I will say it's interesting because the second I saw the fervor and fanfare for Tears of the Kingdom when it came out, and then the weeks following,
that's every Zelda though.
It's true, but I figured, especially with Breath of the Wild syndrome, I was like, oh, this is just automatically people's game of the year. They're not going to really care about anything else and things like that. And it is interesting hearing like you, Roger, where you're like, you don't really know yet. You think it is, but the fact that Final Fantasy 16 is even giving it a shot, I think that's really interesting.
And I think with Tears of the Kingdom, part of the reason why it's so high for me specifically is I really engage with like all the different elements of gameplay. Whereas like I definitely understand you guys, where it's like you feel like you're getting like set to a task list and you're doing this, and then maybe the combat isn't driving with you. Like I understand that. Mm-hmm. Whereas one of the experiences I like is talking about it with you guys. That's one of the things I liked about Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, totally.
But so like that also like kind of heightens it. I don't really get caught up in like the fanfare, so to speak, that much. Mm-hmm. But I guess what I'm just trying to say is like every single element of that game, with the crafting, with the auto build, with the combat, with the exploration, it just all clicked for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, yeah.
That being said,
and that was the biggest thing about that game. I really did not enjoy the combat.
See, but for me, like, well, I don't know. It had parry and perfect dodging, as weird as perfect dodging was, which I enjoy. But for me, when I got bored of it, that's when I fuck with the auto building. You know what I mean?
I completely agree.
And that never drew my attention at all either. The building mechanic.
That's perfectly fine. Yeah, I think that's what I was saying.
I was saying why your opinion's wrong. I'm just
Jake's saying you're completely wrong.
There's no redeeming features.
I was trying to give you like the benefit of the doubt, but if you're not a fucking idiot, then like if you actually engage with it, then it's actually no, I'm joking.
You're not a fucking idiot. Love that. Yeah, love that. I'm sure.
I'm trying to say what I'm trying to say is while I engage with it, you guys are all valid in how you felt towards it.
Yeah, no, totally. It's one of the things too.
No, our opinions are right.
Our opinions are fact.
No one else's opinions matter.
I totally understand why people like it. I don't even really like crafting to begin with. It's not my thing.
It's hit or miss. It's hit or miss with me. So.
Yeah. So, anyways,
I feel like crafting needs to just stop being a like key feature in every video game that comes out.
I think if there's like a purpose to it, but there are a lot of games there's not a purpose to it. I'd argue Final Fantasy 16. There's crafting, but it's like not really a purposeful.
Weapon degradation in Zelda never bothered me in Breath of the Wild. It bothered the fuck out of me in Tears of the Kingdom.
Really?
Yeah.
For me, it's the exact opposite.
Yeah.
No. I just have the exact opposite opinions on this game than everyone, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get more. We'll
talk all about it.
Yeah, we'll get more into the weeds when we have that spoiler cast, which will be happening very soon. Yeah, that is you guys.
True.
So my game of the year, Advance Wars. No, not actually, but I do want to shout out. Yeah, Advance Wars came out at a really great time because I got it right when I went on my honeymoon. So that game for me was me sitting on the deck of a cruise ship playing Advance Wars in nice weather with free food and free drinks. So I'm just gonna have fond memories of that game forever. That being said, even before that, it's a fantastic game. The story is what it is, but that game really shines in the skirmishes, even if it's against like a CPU, because you really get into that whole like, I mean, it is what it is. It's a modern war tactics game, and you use artillery and you use air superiority and use all that shit. If you like those type of military tactics games, it's perfect. But for now, it's so weird to think or say, but I do think my game of the year is probably Fire Emblem. Yeah,
So happy for you.
Wow.
Fire Emblem Engage, it is the only game the game this year that when I got it, I played it and then I couldn't stop playing it. And I did all the side things, and I was like leveling up all my relationships with every single character. And when I beat the game, it was one of those things like that I got to start right away. I didn't, because I was waiting for the DLC to come out, which it is out, and now
it's already out.
Yeah, it's all out. It's all ready.
What is the
now
DLC
it's a matter
for this
of
game?
Oh, well, they had like 4 waves, and the first 3 waves were like adding different emblems, because this whole game's gimmick was
okay, gotcha.
Previous
that makes sense.
Fire Emblem characters are like in these rings, and you can combine them with the new Fire Emblem characters. And that's something that I really liked, how they kind of melded the nostalgia of older Fire Emblem games into this game through the paralogs, which all took place on classic maps, and they correlated with the Fire Emblem ring you were getting. And then just the whole like the emblems actually talk to you. Ike actually talked to you, and things like Korn and all these people from the previous games. And it was a little. They probably could have done more with it, but I liked what they did.
All right, Andrew, I'm going to put you on the spot and call you out here. Your first playthrough of Fire Emblem Engage, how did you play it?
What do you mean?
I mean, did you do permadeath or not?
Oh, always. I don't. I always play these games.
If you hadn't, I would still be fine with that. I wouldn't have been an asshole. But that's like a weird thing in the community where like some people are assholes about it. I don't mind playing it casual, but
yeah, no, I was playing it classic, and actually I was playing it on the hardest difficulty first.
Ooh,
and then
brave man.
And then 20 hours in, they always fucking have this in every Fire Emblem where you do a mission, and then there's another mission back to back.
Yep.
And I just couldn't fucking do it. I had to knock it down to normal difficulty. But then at that point, my characters were so strong because I had to fucking grind for the hard mode that I just swept through everything. But no, it's a really fucking good game. I wasn't that big into Three Houses because it did kind of like experiment and differentiate so much with the series. It kind of ironically took a Persona approach to the whole calendar system.
In some ways.
Yeah, I mean, not totally, but like in a lot of ways, or in some ways it did that. But Engage was like, okay, we're going to go back to that classic, you're moving around on a map. You have your home base where you do all your interaction stuff. It just felt like classic Fire Emblem again, and I really did enjoy it. Now, I will say this.
I think the only reason I missed that one is because I was playing through Persona 4 Golden. That was one of the casualties of that.
It came out in January, which a lot of games in January too kind of get forgotten in the dust. Who remembers the One Piece game that came out this year?
Odyssey? I do.
Yeah.
Classic.
Okay.
Great.
Okay, there you go. I played it for like an hour. It was fine. But I will say, part of the reason why I wanted to do the game of the year so far is because by the end of the year, I'm not going to probably fucking talk about Fire Emblem. Once I beat Final Fantasy 16, once Spider-Man 2 comes out, honestly, I'm really excited for Armored Core.
Yeah, me too. I'm intrigued by that game.
There's a lot of fucking games coming out, and that's kind of how I wanted to end this episode too. Was like, kind of going around the room and like, what game are you guys games are you guys excited for this year? Because this year's already been a fucking fantastic year, but it's not even close to done yet. I think the best games are still to come, honestly. Jake, I guess we'll
probably agree.
Kick it over to you first. And you said Spider-Man, and is there anything else? Spider-Man.
I have nothing left except for Spider-Man.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. Took the words right out of my mouth. Is there anything else even coming out this year?
So I have this list over here of kind of bigger games.
Oh, so, Starfield, was that the name of it?
So Armored Core 6, Starfield is coming out. The Metal Gear Collection.
I'm interested in Armored Core, but I would say it's like I die without it.
That's fair. Spider-Man 2, as you said, Sonic Superstars, Super Mario RPG's coming out, Dragon Quest Monsters, which you guys laughed at, fuck you. Super Mario Wonder's coming out, Persona 5 Tactica, that Star Ocean remake, Second Story R, Lies at P, which is that Dark Souls Pinocchio game, Lords of the Fallen.
I thought Lies at P was already out. Is that not out yet?
It's not out yet, no. Oh. Assassin's Creed Mirage, Mortal Kombat 1, the Avatar game. That's about the big ones.
Nope, it's the Avatar game. That's my pick.
That game actually looks kind of cool. It looks like Far Cry, but Avatar. I'm down for it.
I just say Mario and Spider-Man. That's all I care about. Those are the only 3 games I'm going to play after Final Fantasy 16 when I get around to it, someday.
That's fair. Yeah.
And if I don't get to Final Fantasy 16 before those come out, then the next game I play is Mario RPG.
Telltale's doing a game on the Expanse, really?
Yeah, Telltale's new game comes out next week, I think.
It's a prequel. Holy shit.
Yeah, Telltale is back.
I think it's around in name only, but that's still crazy.
Yeah. Ida, are there any games this year that you're really looking forward to? I mean, we only listed like 3 Switch games, so I guess those games: Mario, Sonic, Persona.
Well, but Sonic's coming out and everything.
You have a PlayStation 4 in the house.
There's 5 in the house.
But she only plays on Switch.
Yeah,
I know.
PlayStation 4 is a little dusty.
I just like being
Isaac would have all the PlayStation titles lined up.
Dude, Isaac's playing. You said he was playing LA Noire Remastered. I'm so proud of him.
Yeah,
good game.
Yeah, he beat that. Yeah, he beat Mafia 1 and 2.
Look at him go!
Dude, let me tell you,
hitting the classics.
Roger, let me tell you, Isaac, fantastic video game taste. Fantastic.
Yeah, no shit.
He needs to get on here. He won't. I keep telling him he needs to. Well, he'd be a lot better of a co-host than I would.
I applaud his choices.
He would have brought up Dead Island 2, which I want to get around to because that game probably not getting the year, but it looked really fun.
I will say, I watched
Dead Island 1. I'm just so mixed on.
I watched a documentary about the whole journey of that game, and it's a very interesting.
Where it went through 3 developers. It started in fucking Germany or whatever. With the developer over there, I can't even remember their name.
And the most interesting thing is most of pretty much anything any other developer has talked about it about its whole journey is only in Game Informer, and I have that magazine.
Yeah,
so I'd read a lot of that stuff before I had seen the video.
No, it's crazy that game A came out and B was as good as it was.
Yeah.
Well, because the company the rights to it was basically just you just take your time. We've kind of burned bridges with 3 studios by rushing.
It was.
I don't think we can do that any much longer.
It was Embracer. Embracer's the publisher.
Yeah, Embracer. And then didn't the original developer go on to do Dying Light?
Yep, Techland. Yep, they went and did
Dying Light 2.
Yep. Better games than Dead Island 1, I'll tell you that.
I think that's the problem is Dead Island is just a better, not Dead Island. Dying Light's just a better Dead Island.
Yeah.
Dead Island is a better Dead Island, Roger.
Dead Island 2 doesn't even take place on a fucking island. It takes place in LA.
It never was, too. That's the weird thing. During its entire journey, it's always been set in LA.
I mean, I guess a continent is technically an island.
I mean, you can make an argument for Australia.
Yeah, maybe. Anyways, Ida, any games that you're looking forward to for the rest of the year?
No new releases. I mean, if something catches my eye when it comes out, I like to be surprised. I like to see a trailer out of nowhere. And
what are you looking forward to play then? We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to take a palate cleansing break of long story games, but it's probably the day I get back from vacation. I'm starting Persona 5 Royale.
Yes.
Royale.
I would start it now, but I know that
don't
Persona
do
4 took me 22 days to beat.
Yeah, Persona 5
Andrew and I will be
it's going to be 2 months.
The 2 people who played Persona before everyone else here, but we don't even know what a Kasumi is.
Yeah, and
hold up.
We'll have to talk about the Royal version.
Hold up. Listen.
What?
Jake, I appreciate how fast you did jump on the Persona train, but don't act like you're there from the start.
I said
before us,
specifically in this room.
Yeah, before us.
Okay, but who's beaten Persona?
I had to Well, okay, wait. Let's not discredit him now. But
let's not gatekeep Persona.
I'm trying to just say, let's not.
That wasn't even what I was saying.
Let's not forget history, where I had to convince you for years to get a Vita. Years.
We brought up Persona for 5 seconds, and look what's doing
when did the Vita come
to this
out?
group.
2012.
2012, and I got one in 2015.
Yeah, that's years. It's multiple.
Maybe.
See, Ida, this is how Vita players act. You don't want to get a Vita. You don't want to be like them.
No,
I was just saying it's going to be interesting. I wasn't even trying to make an argument. It was just it's going to be interesting because Andrew and I, who played Persona the longest out of this group, don't even really know all the things they fucked and changed in Persona 5 between the original and Royale. And that's going to be your guys' only experience is Royale, and we only know the original 5.
Tactica comes out this year, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I know, like Andrew and I talked about last time, there's so many different fucking versions of everything.
Chinese
I
only.
have no
Persona 5
idea
game.
what changes everything.
Yeah, I played the
I know-
Chinese only Persona 5 game.
I know some of the changes, and a lot of them are like kind of convenience. Like for example, in the original, your gun, you would only get like however many shots in it, and it wouldn't reset until you left the dungeon.
Mhm.
Whereas in
Oh,
Royale,
that's good to know.
it's reset at the beginning of every battle. So like you can actually use your gun in the game.
Cool.
It also has a whole third semester.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
big thing is like Golden, where it has a whole third.
Kasumi.
Yeah,
And Kasumi.
Yeah.
And a
I'm
major
talking
character
about,
that doesn't die in it.
but I'm talking about like quality of
I
life
know.
stuff. There's a lot of things that go a long way.
Yeah. So,
I'm excited.
Roger, any games you're looking forward to this year? Any more that you're looking forward to?
Oh, welcome back,
Dude.
Roger. We can see you now.
Could you not see me before?
Peekaboo.
Oh, you guys are so mean. Aw. So my problem is there's like 4 that I'm really looking forward to.
Mhm.
No, I trust me.
4,
I know.
kind of 4.5 because I also want to like try out Pikmin 4. I would
Oh my
really like
gosh,
to
I
play
forgot
that.
Have you
about
played the demo?
Of Pikmin 4?
Pikmin
Pikmin
4?
4.
No, I haven't. If I get it, I'll do it completely blind.
I just have no
Um,
interest in Pikmin.
I played the demo and I couldn't.
I feel like
just had
that's a
no
game.
interest.
I feel like that's a game where a demo's not going to really like. You're not
Sell
going to be
you
able to
on
sell
that.
it off of the demo.
Just buy Pikmin 1 and 2 and
No,
then see if you like
think,
it.
I think I want to jump in the most recent one and then decide if I want to go back.
That's fair.
But that's
I
the
actually-
hack.
Yeah.
I got Pikmin 1. Just talking about games we played. Not my game of the year, but I got it and I 100%ed it in one night. So
Yeah.
hold
Oh.
off on Pikmin 1. It's not because of anything. I mean, I had actually forgotten that I'd beaten it, and then I got to the final area and I was like, oh no, I have done this before. But it's one of those games where I think they get better as they go. There's
Yeah.
something charming about the first one, but
I've
like if you were
heard-
to jump into the new one.
I've heard this one is an okay entry point for new people, so that was
Mhm.
part of my decision. However, that's the half.
Olimar's back.
Dude, that's the fucking half that I
Maybe.
was talking about. Jake, you mentioned Spider-Man 2. Obviously, that's like one I
Yeah.
can't wait to play.
Obviously.
Starfield, I'm very optimistically cautious about. Like, I really want to play it and try it, but it's like I'm also scared of it at the same time. But I really want to play Starfield.
I'm sorry, I just don't have the affinity for the Bethesda RPGs that you guys do.
Yeah,
I
it's fair.
that's the thing, right? I think because of 76, it's like you have to earn it back.
It's like
Not-
I like New Vegas, but that's about the only. I try Skyrim. I just can never beat it.
I just fucking love it. You like the one that was made by Obsidian, not,
Listen.
not by Bethesda.
Yeah.
In terms
I
of
like the Obsidian one.
Fallout, New Vegas, I think is still the best one.
Yeah.
But to me, Elder Scrolls, they're all better than Fallout. I love Fallout, but Elder Scrolls
Yeah.
is just better.
Yeah. No, definitely.
I'm sure I'd love maybe love Oblivion. I don't know.
Oblivion's like the most controversial one.
People I don't know. In Skyrim, I just get. I can't ever replay that game because I've played the beginning so much and I'm just sick of the beginning of that game.
No, I get
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I get the same way. Once you're like 5-10 hours in, then it starts getting more fun because you go a different way. But God, the intro is just
If you play it on PC, just get the mod where it skips the intro. It's just nice.
I'll just get the mods where it makes the dragon Macho Man, Randy Savage, and Thomas the Train.
Oh, dude, those are old. Those are old school mods. You guys see some of the shit they have nowadays. It's hilarious.
No,
Those are fine. Those are fine.
Okay, so
so
hold on.
Spider-Man, Pikmin's your half.
Pikmin's half. Starfield, Spider-Man 2, Alan Wake 2. I really want to play.
Oh yeah, Alan
And
Wake
then-
too.
Another one, a big one is Baldur's Gate 3. That's coming out this year.
I figured.
I cannot. Oh my god, dude! I'm
excited, man.
like as
Here I
it's
am
getting
just being
closer. I'm like
like
jittering.
Spider-Man, Mario.
And apparently, it's caused some controversy. I don't know if you've heard about
Talking about the fucking the bear.
the Baldur's
What?
Gate 3 drama.
Oh yeah, Jake. They released this new. They've been showing footage of this game, and first off, there's like 120 hours of cutscenes or something in it.
All right, sweet.
It's a
and
big
What?
game.
It's like
a
the Metal
huge
Gear
game.
Solid 4.
And
The lady
then-
said there's like 16,000 endings. Like it's a crazy big game.
No, like obviously all those cutscenes aren't in one
Man,
playthrough.
can't wait to see
but, like,
someone complete all 16,000 endings in that game.
There's
someone
probably a
will.
lot of tiny variants, but yeah.
Like Shadow the Hedgehog with its like 12 endings that like there's just 3 endings, but all the other ones are slightly different.
They were showing like there's romance options in this, and one of the people is like what do you want to call them, like
Bear?
a shift changer or whatever. They can like a person that can
Shapeshifter?
change. into a bear, and then there was a love scene with the bear that they showed.
That's amazing.
Like as a bear.
Yeah,
Right.
they're the bear. I don't know. It's funny
Oh,
Was that like a preference?
though. I don't know.
It's like, hey, I love you, but can you be a bear?
The camera does this little thing. Like, you should look it up.
Bear
after,
stays on during sex.
You should look it up after the show. But like, the bear does this thing where it kind of like looks at the camera, and kind of gives a little wink or something, and then it fades to black.
God.
It's really
And then it like unfades, just a bloody mess.
Oh my
Just
gosh.
mauled.
Yeah, that's exactly how it goes. Anyways,
That's the happy. Honestly, any other scenario where that comes back from black and it's not that is not a happy ending.
Right.
Anyways, those are all fantastic games.
Yeah.
That you're looking forward to. I do want to quickly shout out Yakuza, A Man with No Name, which is
he wakes up naked in Hawaii.
Nope, that's Yakuza
No.
Infinite Wealth. Man with No Name is going back to
That's the new
Kiryu's story.
Yeah, because they can't
Classic.
do Judgment anymore.
Classic Yakuza. I think these are all planned in the beginning. I think they're always going to go back to him. But excited for that. You mentioned Alan Wake 2, and the only reason I remembered Yakuza is because those are both digital only releases, which is very interesting. Our new future with that.
Yeah, kind of hate it, but it is what it is.
But yeah, I'm definitely cautiously optimistic about Starfield. That Starfield Direct that they had during not E3 really, it sold me on playing it on Game Pass. It was like, it was definitely, I'm going to check this out. This looks good. This is also fucking Bethesda though, so I will wait and see.
It's one of those things where it's like, it felt like Fallout 76 was like, we're going to get this out to get revenue and get money, and because it was very much a for like a business decision, whereas I've been talking Starfield up since like Fallout 4 days. It's
been a long ass time.
I feel like this is the next game.
As long as they've been talking about the Elder Scrolls 6,
which is
the only reason
6 years off still.
The only reason they even mentioned the Elder Scrolls 6 is because people wouldn't stop fucking asking them about it.
Yeah,
like, okay, here's a JPEG and a hill.
Yeah, that's the only reason they did that, because people wouldn't shut the fuck up about it. But I feel like Starfield,
Morrowind.
I definitely feel like Starfield is like the next one they like kind of wanted to make, so I'm curious to see how that goes.
No, definitely. I'm excited for that, and of course, Spider-Man 2. Obviously, like looking forward to that. There's a lot of what feel like AA games. I was mentioning games like The Lords of the Fallen and Lies of P, and
like the battery.
Yeah, just like the battery. Yeah, no. But
made 4 of those for my Game Boy.
There's a lot of games like that.
Nobody has Super Mario Brothers Wonder on here?
No, it's me. I said I want the 2 Mario games and Spider-Man.
Yeah, and I'm excited for that.
I want to get the sex scene with Mario as the elephant where he winks at the camera and it fades to black.
Yeah.
I will say, for a game coming out in the future, and I completely spaced on it before, in 8 days, I don't know if you guys have heard of Tunic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We know Tunic.
Yeah, so I have that coming. It finally ships out in 8 days. So I'm really excited to see that.
I didn't know I had a physical release. That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
it
ships
IMA
out.
Or something.
Probably the limited
run. IMA or limited run. Like where you got the physical.
She doesn't know. She just bought it online.
Hear.
Oh,
okay. I couldn't hear.
Where'd you buy it from?
Speaking of the mic,
I got it from Fangamer. It's the only way to get the
deluxe
edition.
One of the 3. I picked 2 of the 3. I missed that one.
Yep. So, all right, cool.
Yeah, neat.
That's
Tunic is a cool game.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see if it's worth the anticipation.
It's one you'll either click with or you won't.
Yeah.
Sounds like somebody hasn't over here.
Well, no, I'm saying Tunic came out a while ago. Yeah. To wait this long to play it physically.
You know me though.
Yeah, that's a little weird. I'll agree.
I did the same thing with Stray. The only reason I got to play it before I got the physical is because PS Plus.
Hey, listen, we already have a George. We already have a Zelda. Okay? Like, Tunic's good. It's fine, but it's not Link's Awakening.
But but it's cute, and that's what I go for. It got me for Cult of the Lamb. I bought the physical version out of not knowing anything about it because it was cute, and it ended up being a great game.
Hey, that's fair. Yeah, we'll see.
Just gonna keep rolling with it, and we'll see.
We'll see. So, yeah. Unless you guys have any other game of the year or anticipation things to talk about, I think that this is the end of the show. Do you have any other comments or concerns, questions? Jake, you usually have something thrown at the end.
Redfall.
There you go.
Game of
Gollum is my game of the year.
Yeah.
No, so we'll leave it there. Thank you guys. I think this went really well. I think having just the one, I feel good. You know, we just had that one topic. We all talked. It's a little over an hour, and we're ending. And I'm like, this is nice.
I forgot.
You know,
we got the System Shock remake.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many games that we didn't talk about. Company Heroes 3, I know, came out this year that I really enjoyed playing a little bit. System Shock remake that you said. The Etrian Odyssey trilogy also came out. The Last of Us Part 1 on PC. Fucking hilarious. There's a ton of games that have been coming out this year. It really is a fantastic year. Mm-hmm. But I think the games that we all mentioned and that we've liked, obviously we were going to have like Final Fantasy, Zelda and stuff, but we had a good mix of other games in there too that we're talking
Factions about. Come out. Is that out?
Or there's rumors that Factions has been reshifted. There's rumors that Bungie actually came in and said this is not good.
Oh yeah, we talked about that.
We did.
I'm just still waiting for it.
That pirate game, it's I think for November, December, that keeps getting delayed.
Oh, speaking of pirate game, did you guys see that Sea of Thieves has a Monkey Island Adventure 2 on it?
Yeah.
Sea of Thieves it's such a cool game. Like I wish like people wanted to play it with me.
I'll play it.
Yeah, I'll play it. I don't know about with you, but I'll play it.
I still want to do the Pirates of the Caribbean stuff they added to it as well.
I know. We need to do that. We need to go back and finish that.
We will. But yeah,
anyways, I lied about my game of the year. It's Forspoken.
Okay.
I was going to say Sea of Thieves.
I think this went well, though. We'll definitely keep doing these as long as we can. I mean, I plan on doing them every week now. So if you like this, or if you're interested, if this is your first podcast you ever heard of us, hello, hi, I'm Andrew. I'm the host. I make all this shit. I make the gears turn and the ball roll as best that it can. We call this the Titanic. Oh, no, even with Halo, we still did it. We were still here. I still made the ship run. This is our podcast. Thank you so much for listening and watching. If you're interested in our main show, which is just called the Gaming Block, this is the Gaming Block Lite, by the way, in case you're curious. Check out the same subscription feed. It should be popping up every single Monday, and this will be posted on every single Friday, bar some horrific, terrible thing that happens. Patreon.com/SlightlyEMP if you would like to support us financially. If you would like to see updates on new episodes posted and or topics, if you want to give a topic suggestion, Facebook.com/SlightlyEMP, or you go to Twitter.com/SlightlyEMP, or YouTube.com/SlightlyEMP, or YouTube.com/ThatOneAndrew. Any of those, leave a comment there. I'll see it. I'll read it. Of course, subscribe and all that stuff. We're on podcast services everywhere: Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Spotify. Hey, if you have a friend that might be interested, this is to you guys too, co-hosts. Go ahead and share this podcast around. The more times we share, the more people get eyeballs on it. Our number one fan came from Roger. So, you'll never know.
I think it came from Roger's parents, but
I mean, still connected to Roger. You'll never know. You'll never know who will be interested in a video game podcast, especially one like ours where we fucking just talk about stupid shit most of the time.
I had a suggestion. Can we just have a whole episode where we talk about Halo?
Yeah. We absolutely
can. We have a whole episode where we talk about Zelda finally.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the next one. I honestly do. I think our next Gaming Block Lite will be finally the Tears of the Kingdom spoiler cast. I'm going to sit down and I think I'm just going to beat it.
I guess if you're okay with spoilers, if you want to just have your opinion as like a non,
I might do that too. I know all the spoilers already. Honestly, I might just do that.
It's not the same though.
I know it's not the same, but I can still give my experience because I think
I want you to know. I want you to go through that final gauntlet to the boss fight. I want you to know that. It's not. It's just stupid.
Jake's being a little whiny baby about it. It's fine.
All right.
Just put some Sunderlions.
With demise.
Don't do two hearts like somebody did.
Hey. It's cool. It's fine.
Make gloom resistant meals. Like a person would.
I had the stuff to do it. I just ran out of things to go with the Sunderlion.
You just
I had Sunderlions.
Yeah, you just didn't do it. You can just eat
so
raw.
So if you want more of this, go ahead and subscribe.
Listen, all I need are apples, and the second they take away apples and availability to heal, it
sounds like
all downhill from there.
Kind of sounds like a skill issue if you're asking me.
I was just mad because I maxed out my inventory of items that fully healed me, plus gave me yellow hearts, and none of them could be used.
Dude, same.
I mean, they could be though. I don't know what to tell you.
Jake, thank you so much for joining me today. Ida, thank you so much for joining me. And Roger, thank you so much for joining me. And audience, of course, one last time, thank you so much. That's the end. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Andrew, beat the goddamn game.